Welcome to another edition of In the Pocket, all thanks to Palmerbet. And we are getting down to the nitty gritty. 2 weeks to go in what has been a sensational AFL season. Spider Everett, legend with the St Kilda Football Club, superstar with the Hawthorn Football Club, and just a downright good guy at the Sydney Swans. What a career you have had. How are you, mate?
Well, they always say, there's 8 stories and only one ending, and now there's down to 4 stories and one ending, and we're getting thinner and thinner, but still we're getting no closer to who do we think's going to get the result because, gee, what a cracking weekend of football. You couldn't have asked anything more of it. You want it to continue this weekend. Teams that should never have won got up. It was in the last moment. We're waiting for the fat lady to sing. She never sang. And then suddenly, teams just run over others. So, yeah, what a cracking game of footy over the weekend. What a weekend of footy. And now, it's the big stuff now.
Spite, let's go back to Friday night. The power off the back of a drubbing at the hands of Geelong the week before, mate, up against an informed team in the Hawks who come over with plenty of confidence. But Kenny Hinkley and the Port Adelaide Football Club, fair dinkum, that was one for the ages. 3-point victory, went right down to the wire. The skipper had the chance to win it for the Hawks. He hits the post Sicily in the last minute and a half. It just had everything, did it? Then it had after the game spied. There was a little bit of play between Kenny and Jackie G. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Good to see.
And that's what we love about football, don't we? Because they're all the little bits and pieces that make for it. Yeah, Jackie G, he come out and he had a crack during the week, which I thought was, hilarious, to be honest. See you in 14 days, and then it was always going to be on the cards. It always comes back to haunt you. But you're right, the game itself, it was still in the balance. You didn't know. Port Adelaide, at least they come to play. At least they come out, and we knew they were going to, really go at them hard. And, to be honest, I was quite happy with Dixon getting a bit crook the night before the game because I thought if Dixon played, as much as I love him, I just thought he was going to really hinder that side. And I think if he had played, they probably would have lost. So it just goes to show that, he did make all the right calls in the end. So, yeah, look, it was a cracking game. Miss a couple of goals and, hit the post twice or 3 times in the last quarter makes a big difference. So, yeah, well, to be honest, probably the better team on the night won. They didn't win as convincingly as they thought they should have. But you know what? Finals are a thing where you've just got to win. Who cares? It's not about percentages. It's just a win.
I just can't trust the power, Spide. I know you're all over them last week, but they're best and their worst. There's too big a discrepancy. They come out, they didn't miss a tackle. They absolutely, their intensity was up, all that kind of stuff. You're right about Charlie Dixon. I reckon him not playing, and I'm the same. I love him. He's been a great warrior for that football club for a long time. But he's in the mix this week. They're talking about playing him. So I just don't know where they're at, mate. I know we're going to get to our tips later on, but I'm going to be really interested to see which way you go here because you've been on the Port Adelaide bandwagon the last few weeks. So I'll be interested to see where you go against your old team in the Swannies, mate.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, we'll get to that a little later on. But, over on the game on the weekend, it's a big challenge for Port Adelaide. But remember, they have had 2 games at home, which has been that little bit of an advantage for them. So the only thing I'm saying is don't try and book a ticket from Brisbane to Melbourne this weekend like I had to. Oh, it was horrendous. It was horrifying.
Not going to get better, mate.
Oh, it's not going to get better at all. But, so it was a great game. It was good to see all the Port Adelaide supporters actually hang around. And plus Ken Hinkley now saying that he's going to be coaching in 2025. So that's a big one as well. So, all those coming off back of, because if Ken Hinkley had lost that, I don't think he would have been there next year.
Mate, what's your take on the Sicily-Hinkley aftermath?
I think it's just emotions of football. Hinkley or somebody had to say something to Ginnivan. There's no doubt about that. If you're smart enough, and I know a lot of people are saying, Ken Hinkley's old enough. Well, so is Ginnivan. Everyone's old enough. He knows what you're doing. If you're putting it out on social media, it comes back to haunt you. Absolutely have a crack. Is it in the place of a coach? Oh, look, I don't care. There's been plenty of good coach bust-ups. We remember Kenny Sheehan slitting the throat, and looking at players, and Alistair Clarkson at the start of the year. So I think it just adds to the theatre. Would they have gone and had a beer if it was both teams after matches? Probably. They would have had a laugh about it. But it's in the emotion of the game. A couple of minutes after the game, it's an emotional game, and it was a close game. So there's a lot of tension around.
We're getting a bit too precious, I reckon. I'm with you, big fella. Hey, what about the GWS Brisbane Lions game? Once again, mate, went down to the wire. 31 points down in the last quarter, Brisbane. Unbelievable last 5 minutes from Joey Danaher. Kicked a goal on the boundary, smoked that mark, went back, slotted another one. And then to hold on and to hang on against the Orange Tsunami, who went back into their shell. They'd done the same against Sydney the week before, Spy. They will be ruining missed opportunities because I reckon they have let one slip this year, big fella.
100%. 100%. And that will scar them. You know, you talk about Sydney a couple of years ago getting belted in a grand final. Well, this now will scar, GWS, no different to the hoodoo of the MCG, the Brisbane Lions, because it's just that last quarter. As soon as you start playing GWS, especially, the first few rounds, and it gets to three-quarter time, you'll be telling them, mate, we know you're going to fade. We know you are. And that's how you got to look at it. Like GWS had Sydney on toast. They had Brisbane on toast. This was their year. They only had to play one more quarter of football, and if they could all have that quarter again, how different would it look? To allow Brisbane in when they controlled so much of it. They kept so many players quiet. They'd done everything they need to do. Jesse Hogan up front forward. Toby Green did whatever he needed. Tom Green the first quarter. So, look, I just found it, yeah. And to be honest, I think most people turned it off at halftime, three-quarter time, said, you know what? Brisbane are done. We're gone. We'll probably switch it over and watch something else. And then they wake up in the morning and they, hang on, where did that come from?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. They'll be absolutely ruining that. But full power to the Brisbane Lions. All of a sudden, Spied, a little bit of momentum. They're going to take on the Cats at the MCG Saturday afternoon. A big, big challenge. And they've still got that MCG hoodoo that just hangs over their heads, the Brisbane Lions. It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we'll get to that game too, because we know there's a couple of injuries. There's a couple of player concerns. You got Tommy Hawkins, you got Stewart. There's so many got to come back in. So the Cats are going to be cherry ripe, and the Lions got a couple of injuries. So we'll look at that. But at the same time, the Lions, they're still a good side all over the park. If it's not Cam Rayner standing up doing his little bit, Charlie will kick a couple of goals. And then, as you mentioned, Danaher in front. And then McInerney was fantastic as well. McInerney really held him in the game in the first quarter, took a couple of marks, got him going forward. So, there's a couple of players there that, probably a little bit underrated as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's have a look at our tipping last week. Both went 1 from 2. You went the Power and the Giants, so got the Power up. I went the Hawks and Brisbane. So we are all square, Spy. We're all square at the end of the year, and we're still all square, believe it or not.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable. It is amazing.
So I'll be interested to see what we go this week and then what we go to the grand final. Surely it can't go down to the grand final. That will be hilarious.
Mate, we are going to be very different this week. I've just got that sneaking suspicion. Right, your best bets, mate. Port Adelaide to win. Willie Rioli and Jason Horne-Francis 2+ goals. Horne-Francis kicked 1. Willie got 2. You were stiff there, big fella.
Yeah, Big Horne-Francis didn't. He let me down a little bit. He was
cramping.
Quiet. Yeah, he was cramping, but he's just leading up to the big day, the big dance, maybe.
Oh, you're getting excited. Against the Giants, you went, mate, Toby Green, Brett Daniels, Jesse Hogan, all to kick 2+. So Toby and Jesse didn't let you down. Brett Daniels is the man there. So you're very, very close by both your same game multis on the weekend.
Oh, they were good. I thought it was a good weekend to do it. Yeah, there's plenty of goals around towards the top. And, I think same game multis this time of the year doesn't get any better. They are exciting. You yell and cheer and you clap and scream. You do everything you need to do. All you want to do is get one over the line. So, but we ended up on top.
Beautiful, mate. My Matty's must have. I went Hawthorn 40+. Could not have been further from the truth, that one, Spide. I did get Jack Ginnivan and Nick Watson anytime goal scorer. So the Wizard and Jackie didn't let me down. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Not bad.
And have a listen to this one, though, big fella. Giants v Brisbane. I took the Lions 1-39. Charlie Cameron, Joe Danaher, Eric Hipwood, all anytime goal scorer. And guess what? They've sent me a trophy, mate. They've sent me a trophy. I have saluted.
You've got it.
This is one of the old Accra trophies, mate. Back in the day.
There we go. You've got yourself a trophy. The tipster of the week.
Thank you very much to Palmerbet for putting that in the express post to get it down to me today. So we haven't had many all year. Hey, the Punters Club, though, we had some units
Yes.
on Big Fella. We had 100 units on this. Willie Rioli to kick 2+ goals and Joe Danaher to kick 2+ goals. If you don't mind, 354. All of a sudden, our end of season trip's starting to spark up.
Mate, we're back. We're back. Last week we took it away, but we're 2 out of 3. So make sure you book those airfares pretty quickly because we could be on a footy trip.
Mate, absolutely, we could be on a footy trip. Right, let's turn our attention to some Palmerbet markets. So premiership odds, the 4 teams that are still alive, Spite. Sydney Swans, they were $3.30 last week. Now they're into $2.50. Geelong Cats were $4.30 last week. Now they're into $3.75. Brisbane were $8. If you're a Brisbane Lions fan, you got good shopping last week. They're into $4.25. And the Power, $18 last week. Now into $10, which is still some value there, Spite, isn't there?
Oh, there's absolutely. Well, they're only one game away. They're 4 quarters away of being $2.10 or $2.
Yeah, spot on,
it
mate.
depends. So, even Brisbane Lions is realistically 12 goals away, from being $1.80. So, I think, there's some value on the outside there because we know, Sydney are really good at home, but at the same time, we don't know what. Geelong played an unbelievable game against Port Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, and Port Adelaide said they weren't cherry ripe. So you sit there and go, how much do you take away? How much is Port Adelaide off? How much were Geelong very good? Can they back it up? That's the big question after a week off.
Spot on, mate. So many questions going to be answered. I reckon there's one moral of the weekend. I don't like bringing out that M word. I reckon the other game's a little bit of a toss, but we'll get to that shortly.
Okay.
Palmerbet Quinella, grand final team. So here's something a little bit different. So Sydney Geelong, the short way home, the 2 faves, 226 to both make the grand final. Sydney Brisbane is the next best at 277. The Port Adelaide and Geelong Quinella is $5.98, and the 2 outsiders, Port Adelaide and Brisbane, $7.33. I don't want to ask you which way you're going.
No, but there's still every chance. That's the hard thing there.
They are.
It's depending on who you absolutely feel that is immoral, you could nearly take it with the other two, and see if you could have a win there. So, I like there's a couple of good odds in there.
Yeah. Hey, listen, let's turn our attention now to the big prelim finals, all right? Going to be huge. Sydney v Port Adelaide. Friday night, 7:40, SCG. Sellout crowd. It will be absolutely heaving. Head-to-head, the Swans, $1.34. Port Adelaide at $3.25. The line here is minus 18.5. 2024 results, Spite. We go back to round 21. It wasn't that long ago. The Power smacked the Swans 148-36.
Yeah, I don't think that will be happening.
Mate, that game was unbelievable that night. Like, they hadn't scored. I think they had 48 points on the board before Sydney even scored. Stats and bets we like at Palmerbet. Isaac Heaney, he's had 30-plus disposals in 2 of his last 3 games. So Heaney, 25-plus disposals at $1.85. Willie Rioli's kicked 2+ goals in 3 of his last 4 games and kicked 2 against Sydney the last time they played. So Willie to do the same, 2+, 220. Tom Papley has kicked 8 goals his last 5 finals games and 2 against the Giants in week 1 of the finals. So Tom Papley 2+ is $1.84. Stats and bets we like. If you multi them 3 up, $5.75. All thanks to Palmerbet. Righto, Spide?
Yep.
Which way you going, mate? Remember you played with Sydney?
Look, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, look, I think this is, again, like the SCG, this is a big question. Do they play Charlie Dixon? Charlie Dixon could nearly play at the SCG. Put him in the goal square, make him as a bully man up forward. He doesn't have to run far. He doesn't need to run all the way up to the wings. It's not the open space that we're used to with the MCG. But, and then you look at Sydney with Callum Mills out. Taylor Adams, I would have thought would have been the obvious replacement for there. So perfect weather as well. Going to be 22 degrees at the SCG. So full house, massive Sydney-based supporters there.
Right. So I'm just gonna chime in with one more stat. I just had a quick look on the AFL app. Port Adelaide have won the last 5 encounters against Sydney.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know that, but for me, I'm on Port Adelaide. I'm on
Oh,
Port Adelaide. And at what price are they? $3.
325.
325. I don't know how Palmerbet picked that. Like Sydney haven't played. GWS had them on the ropes. And then, Hawthorn have been far from disgraceful over the last eight weeks, 10 weeks. And Port Adelaide get over the line and go on there. They got nothing to lose. I just think, and I'll tell you what, because I actually honestly believe that Sydney's fall line really let them down against GWS. And when you look at GWS's backline and Port Adelaide's backline, I think Port Adelaide's probably got a little bit better backline. So if they're able to keep Papley quiet, because Papley was the main man, I reckon. Him and Heaney, of course, in the last, but Papley kept them going throughout those first three quarters. So Papley's their man. Keep him quiet. And then up the other end, look, I'm not convinced on Charlie Dixon, but if they're going to play him deep, Georgiades got to lead out. I just reckon they got enough. Yeah, I know Sydney's gun midfield, absolutely, but don't take anything away from Port Adelaide's.
Oh, I can't trust him, mate.
I know you can't trust them. You can't have them.
No, I can't. I can't have him. I reckon Sydney, even though they've lost the last five.
Go on, say it.
I reckon they're the bet of the weekend, mate. They are absolutely.
Say the M word. Say the M word.
I'm going to get the monkey off the back. Sydney and Morals on the weekend.
Yeah, there goes. I've won it at 325.
Oh, I'm telling you, mate, they are absolutely cherry ripe. Big crowd. Yeah, they'll win. They'll win, Spide, and they'll do it. They'll do it well enough for mine, I reckon.
I reckon you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Port Adelaide can run with the best. They've beaten them 5 times in a row. You've told me that. They beat them by 100 points. Okay, the distance between Adelaide and the SCG is what, probably 1,800 Ks, 2,000 Ks, and you're telling me the difference there is 110 points? Come on.
Nah, just a little. They're just up there after last week, and they're just on that cliff, and then it's hard to back up again after a big upper last week, and I reckon it was massive for Port Adelaide to get over the line. I just don't reckon they're going to have that same. And on the flip side, I reckon the Swans are. I reckon they are going to be absolutely cherry ripe. They're going to be jumping out of their skin. They got quality right across the ground, and they will run hard, and they will shut down the plays they need to shut down, and they will get the job done. Spide?
Well, I reckon, yeah. Well, it's a good case for both, but I still have a feeling Port Adelaide can get the Swans.
Righto, I love it, and that's why we are different. But you are going with a value, $3.25 shopped around for the power.
Well, it's not the value. The value is that Palmerbet's got it wrong. I don't know if they've been hanging out with Cheech and Chong or what's been going on.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon it should be? 250 or something like that?
Yeah, I reckon they should be. They finished second. Look at all the stats. The stats don't lie still. So I still reckon I'd be still happy with $2.40, $2.50. You're getting $3.25. It's like taking candy from a kid.
Yeah, can't have it for mine. Sydney Swans.
Okay.
Big tick. And don't you try and go back in there and get in the Swans rooms after they win or something and just say, I was all over you. I was all over you guys.
Have you got a couple of grand final tickets for me?
Hey, Geelong v Brisbane, Saturday 5:15 at the MCG. I must admit, Spide, ridiculous game time. I reckon it's. I just don't.
What do you do? What do you want? They want sensibility. They want you to be able to get to bed early. They need all that. Get the recovery. You got Brownlow Monday night. You got the street parade on Friday. The only thing that can eliminate this is to have the bye before the grand final,
which I think should happen. I reckon they should give that a crack next year. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Anyway, 5:15 MCG head-to-head, Geelong $1.74, Brisbane at $2.10. The line here is tight, -4.5. Only one game in 2024. Cats beat the Lions early on the season. They weren't tracking that well at the Lions, but it was up at the Gabba, 63-37. Stats and bets we like. Joe Danaher has kicked 2+ goals in 8 of his last 9 games, so to Smoking Joe to do the same. He's $1.60. Dane Zorko has had 25+ disposals in 4 straight games. So Zorko 25+ $1.67. Maxie Holmes has had 25+ disposals in his last 2 games. So for him to do the same again, he's $2.10. And Jezza Cameron, he's in good nick. He's kicked 16 goals in his last 3 games.
Wow.
3+ for Jez, 208. Stats and bets we like, three-leg multi, $8.48. 3-2 in the last 5 encounters in favour of the Cats. So it's a toss of the coin. Jezza Cameron, I reckon, Spide, he is going to be the key. Do they bring back the Tomahawk, Tommy Hawkins?
No, they
What do
can't
you
do it.
think?
They can't do it. Having a look at the weather, it's not going to be the best weather. It's not going to
Yeah.
be a 24-degree sunny day. Things will start getting a little bit slippery as well. So, unfortunately, not like Charlie Dixon. I think Tomahawk is done and dusted for the year. Really sad, tough, but you know what? Tommy Stewart will absolutely play, and Lockie Neal is the one for the Brisbane Lions. Walking off the plane with a moon boot. Did he need the moon boot? Was it only there as a show? Was it a bit of a prop? Are they putting everyone off? We don't know. So you sit there and go, okay.
I've got a little bit of info for you, mate. I've got a couple of mates that are great mates with
Yeah.
Lockie. They grew up with him at Edenhope, Apsley, and 5 weeks ago, they said, mate, they went and had breakfast with him at a cafe, and he hopped to the table. He's legitimate. He's got a crack in the heel, I believe, and he's just getting his way through this season.
Crack Neil. I mean, crack deal. But look, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a lot. For me, I don't know, because you sit there. Well, I do know. I'm going with the Cats, and they are short priced. I reckon they're a little bit too short. I reckon it should be a lot closer. Brisbane's still got all the firepower. We saw what they were able to do last week, but it's still at some stage they were still 40-odd points down against GWS. Yes, they end up having one good quarter, but realistically, a prelim final you got to play 4 good quarters, and I just think the Cats freshened up. They have got the young legs. They've got enough brains about them. They've got enough old ability. We know with Zach Tui and a couple of others, probably it is their last hurrah. We'll be pushing the boat out, be going as hard as they can. So I actually believe they've got a really good balance of old and new. Dangerfield leading at the front. He doesn't need to get his 32 anymore. He just has to be that really bullock play, really crashing the packs and getting a handball out here and there. So, Brisbane, Lockie Neal, that's a huge one. And I know they'll inject it and he'll get through the game and he'll be okay. But I think compared to Geelong, Brisbane are a lot hotter and colder than what the Cats are. And, the MCG hoodoo, the run, the young players of Geelong will open them up. And I reckon the Cats.
I'm with you on the Cats, mate. They were awesome against Port Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. Really surprised me. I don't think we've given them enough credit throughout the year. Cameron's in great nick. They got a lot of nippiness, a lot of speed around the contest. Stewart comes back into that side. They'll play. I think they'll play to Coning because he'll come back into that Geelong Cats lineup as well. He'll go and play on Hipwood or Big Smoke and Joe, which I think they need to have him into the team. They just seem like they're balanced, and I think they will get the job done. But I'll tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me, Spide. You just don't know which Brisbane Lions team kind of comes, do you?
Well, you never do, but it's a tough ask, like anyone. They had the home, and then they've had to travel down to Port Adelaide. I mean, they've had to travel a little bit, and now
the Giants, yeah.
So for me, it's tough because we don't know what Geelong, as you say, we don't know what Geelong's going to turn up either, because, they were outstanding the other week and we have underestimated them throughout the year. But, I just think they got a lot to play for. Realistically, a lot of people are thinking Geelong-Sydney grand final. Rematch of a couple of years ago, rewrite the history books and see what happens. So I think Geelong are going to, it will be a solid game, and I just like the Cats.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I just keep going back to that power drubbing. I know they were ordinary that night, Port Adelaide, but I actually got a feeling the Cats might do this again. And I'm going for a decent margin. I think they can win by 6 goals plus here. They might just blow them away. So that's the way I'm heading, big fella.
Geelong had them like that. Geelong had them like that halfway through the third. So absolutely.
Yeah. Righto. Let's go to our bets, big fella. Your pick 2 of the weekend, mate. What do you got for us?
I'm going Port and Geelong to be in the AFL 2024 grand final.
Port and Geelong, mate. I'm just going to test. I'll just key that in. I'm just going to key that in. This is how easy.
Well, you've got it at the front. It's 585, isn't it?
That's 585, mate. That's pretty good value, to be honest.
I told you there's some values.
I'm going the short way home. I don't usually take the two phase spot, but I have this week, and I've gone for Sydney and Geelong to be the grand finalists. $2.34 for me, big fella. What about some same game multis? All thanks to Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. Download that Palmerbet app and have your same game multi yourself. Spy, what are you doing?
Oh, well, that's a big one to start off. What if you type this one in, this little puppy? I'm going to have Port Adelaide to win at $3.25. And to do that, Radigalia will have to kick one. Burn Jones will kick one. And my man, he's going to back it up again. Rioli, he's on fire. He'll kick two.
Oh, I love it, big fella. That same game multi, this is actually big. 15.25, big fella. I like it.
Wow.
The power put the value into it, mate. So
Yeah.
that's where you go. I've gone Sydney to win 1-39. Heaney, Papley, Willie Rioli, all to kick one goal, anytime goal scorer, and Errol Goulden to have 25 plus $5.69 for that multi, big man.
Well, that's not
What
bad.
about the other game?
Well, the other one's Geelong. I'm having Geelong straight to win. And I think the two guys that can really light it up. I'm staying away from Jezza Cameron. I'm going to stick with Stengel. I think, he's been very consistent. And Managa.
Oh, I like it.
But what did he, is Mana, is it how you say it? Managa?
It's just Managa.
Mana. Well, Mana. I'll
2
get
plus.
there. Mate, he was a freak. He kicked 3 last.
Yeah, not bad, mate. 7.49, big fella, for that same game multi on the Palmerbet app. I'm going Jezza Cameron, Tyson Stengel, both 2 plus. And, right, I think Stengel's in good nick. He's back in kind of all Australian kind of nick. And then I'm going Dangerfield 25 plus. So let me just key this in. It's actually probably and I'm going
Danger.
And Cat's 40 plus, right? So that's where the value is. All right, big fella.
Okay.
That is where the value is at. And I'm just going to get down here, disposal markets, 25 plus for Danger. Gee whiz, this is going to be huge. 13.72 for that same game multi. It is really simple. Palmerbet app. Just get around it. Be part of it. Really
That's
easy.
the way to do it. Nice and easy, simple, and a couple of same game multis just set your weekend up. It's going to be a cracking weekend.
What's your lock? What's your lock for our punters club?
Well, what's yours? Club, what's yours?
My lock is Jeremy Cameron to kick 2 plus. All right, so he'll kick 2 plus goals.
You're going to hate me.
Don't say you were going to take that. Don't say you were going to.
No, I wasn't.
Righto. What are you locking?
Well,
don't say power. Don't say something.
I won't say power for the sake of that. Okay, because I normally would, because I think I actually think power great, but give me I reckon give me the same. Give me my lock would be Rioli or Burn. I'm going to go Burn Jones 2 goals.
Righto, so 2 plus for Burn Jones, who's in great nick. 2 plus for Jezza Cameron. We're sticking with the goals. It saluted for us last week. 350 units in the kick. We might have a couple of 100 units on this one this week's Spide.
Right? You love it.
We haven't got many weeks to go, so we need to start pumping it up a bit.
we should have started it 24 weeks ago.
Hey, get your punters club happening too, because you can have plenty of banter and hang a little bit of shit on your mates as well if the bets don't get up and don't salute. It's a whole lot of fun. It's new to Palmerbet, and get involved today. And as we say, download that Palmerbet app, but always think about what you're really gambling with. Gamble responsibly. That is the key messaging. Spide. You're coming back this way. So you go on the footy on the weekend?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm flying down on Sunday. My daughter's playing in her first grand final. So
awesome.
Good luck to her. Yeah, so I'll come down and watch her. But thanks to the Brisbane Lions, the airfares aren't cheap. So, oh, wow.
Mate,
what
Sunday,
you do for your kids.
Sunday I thought you might have got out of it, around it a little bit, but no. It's crazy at the moment, that is for sure. Hey, listen, mate, going to be a cracking prelim final weekend. Starts Friday night, of course, SCG. The Swans taking on the Power, and then Saturday afternoon at the MCG, Geelong taking on Brisbane. There'll only be 2 winners, and they'll march on to the AFL Grand Final for 2024. Spide, great to catch up, mate. We'll talk next week.
Absolutely. We'll in front of the big dance. Let's see. Come on, the power.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.